The Spilotro family and the Lombardo family were very close. They all came from Bari, Italy, and some of them settled in the Grand Avenue patch. And during the family secret trial, Dr. Pat Spilotro testified that he asked Joey Lombardo, "Who killed my brothers and why?" And Joey told him, "Doc, if I wasn't in the can, this would have never happened, but God himself couldn't have saved the Spilotros." Check out these old matchbook covers that one of my viewers was nice enough to share with me. You got the St. Kubert Old English Grill on State Street, right across the street from the Dirksen Federal. This is where Hump, Marie the Camel, used to hang out. Then you got Horwatz, where Chucky English was killed. You got Meals, Via Velanese, where Momo used to like to hang his hat. And then you got a favorite place of Tony Arcardo and his crew, the Norwood House. Desert Inn was controlled by Chicago Outfit. And where Sally D was made, my favorite, Como Inn. Now here we got the William Tell Inn, place I used to frequent a lot back in the 90s. Inside this hotel is a nightclub called Kicks on 66. We used to have a lot of fun here. Led Zeppelin actually stayed here many years ago when they were in town. And during the Sam Carlisi trial, Anthony Zizzo and Tony the Hatch showed up here. There was an illegal poker game going on. They walked in. One of the poker players was so scared, he pissed in his pants. Another high-end club back in the day, the China Club. A lot of the Chicago Outfits, nephews, sons, nieces, daughters, grandkids used to hang out here. My favorite part about the China Club and most clubs is walking past the long line, going up to the bouncer, dropping a few names, telling them I work here, I work there, and getting in for free, avoiding the cover and the line. Now here's a place I used to love going to. I actually miss it. This is The Drink. They also have one in Las Vegas. Awesome nightclub with an excellent restaurant. This is owned by the Morton family. If you know Morton Steaks. Every time I went here, we always picked up Primos. I partied with Carmen Electra, Larsa Pippen, Dennis Rodman, even Jerry Springer. Here's a staple in Chicago, real classy place called the Pump Room. This is where I would take some of my girls on their very first dates. A lot of VIPs and celebrities, wise guys, rock stars would all party here. And during the Gus Alex trial, during that investigation, Gussie didn't know it, but the FBI actually had Gus under surveillance walking in and walking out of the Pump Room. Another one of my favorite spots that I haven't been to in a while, right there in Lincoln Park, across the street from Lincoln Park Zoo, you got the Park West. This is an amazing place to see a show, attend a party, have some drinks. I partied here with Billy Deck, David Schwimmer, Jeremy Piven, John Cusack, Billy Corrigan, and several others. Great, classy spot. Now, right there in the Rush Street neighborhood, Gold Coast area, you got the world-renowned French restaurant, Chez Paul. This is where Chicago Outfit heavyweights like men like Tony Arcardo, Jack Cerrone, Joey Doves Iupa would have meetings here, lunch, dinners. This place was actually under surveillance by the FBI at one point. Now, in the early 90s, we used to go to the Old Ditas. This was a high-end Italian steakhouse. Food was delicious. My first night there, I look over, I see Kareem Abdul-Jabbar sitting there with this small, beautiful, blonde white lady. And right next door, you had City Lights. This was a hot nightclub back in the day, hard to get into. All the Italian wise guys, kids used to go here. We had a lot of fun, a lot of memories here. Another super popular mobbed up joint on Rush Street in the Gold Coast area, you got Gibsons Steakhouse. A lot of VIPs, wise guys, celebrities, hookers, I mean, you name it, they all go here. But I never really liked it because most of the times I go here, they always give me attitude. And I'll never forget seeing Marco D'Amico walking in this joint with a beautiful redhead. Another hot spot back in the day was Carson Ribs. Unfortunately, they really downsized. There's only like one or two of these left. There's still one downtown, though, east of Michigan Avenue. But back in the day, Chris Carson, this guy knew everybody, all the celebrities, all the professional athletes. A lot of wise guys used to come here in groups and get certain rooms just to themselves. But this was one of the best places for ribs. Now, one of my favorite restaurants, not only in Chicago, but in the entire United States, is Greek Islands. It's probably the last Mohican, one of the last original Greek restaurants left in Greektown. And I remember during the family secrets trial, most of the managers, bartenders, waiters, valet guys, cooks, staff at the restaurant were all on Frank Calabrese loan shark or gambling payroll. Right there on Roosevelt and Cicero, in the corrupt town of Cicero, you had Goldberg Jewelers. This was a front. This was the fencing operation for Mark Polkman, who was a high-ranking outlaw motorcycle gang member and made member of the Chicago outfit, Mike Large Guy Sarno. Those two and their burglary crew would fence stolen goods through this joint. 2 female FBI agents wired up this building and had them under surveillance for months. Now, another legitimate business, another gold mine owned by John known as DeFranzo. He was a partner in the Hip Mall right there in Irving and Harlem, right next to the Elmwood Park neighborhood. We all know this is a gold mine for shoppers. DeFranzo made millions just in the construction and building contracts alone. Another hot nightclub back in the 90s where a lot of the mob guys and their kids, nieces, nephews, grandsons used to hang out. Great bunch of people to party with, little cliquey, but you'll never pay for a drink. You got White Star. My favorite part about going to these nightclubs were 2 things. Number 1, walking past the line, walking up to the bouncer, getting in for free, and then at the end of the night, leaving the nightclub. Now, here's the Golden Ox. This place has been around forever. A favorite hangout of Sam Momo Giancana, boss of the Chicago outfit, in its heyday. This is a place where Sam felt safe. And I remember shortly after the family secrets trial, a good friend of mine, who's a mob historian, Bob Ferguson, took me and another guy here out to dinner. And it was really cool to see all the old. Now, right in the heart of the Grand Avenue patch, not too far where Tony Accardo was born, you got La Rox on Grand and Ogden. And I was told by several guys that grew up in the Grand Avenue neighborhood that any day of the week, you'd see anywhere from 50 to 75 guys on Grand and Ogden all hanging out. But this was like a greasy little spoon where all the wise guys and associates hung out at. Now, here's a place on Rush Street that was before my time, but a place a lot of the Chicago's elite, socialite, VIPs, and Chicago outfit guys used to hang out. I actually worked for Charles Fagehart. He was part owner of this bar back in its heyday. He was also the vice president of Chicago Sun-Times. He was also married to Barbara Eden from I Dream of Jeannie, but because the place was mob connected, he had to resign. Now, this was probably our favorite place to go when we were teenagers, was the Sheridan Drive In, right there, right around 75th and Harlem and Bridgeview. We used to sneak 10, 12 kids in at a time in those big Oldsmobile. Some of the kids would even sneak in the trunk. But once we got inside, it was major partying going in, thousands and thousands of dollars of drugs being sold. A lot of people lost their virginity, and a lot of high schools would fight each other. Good times. Now, here's Sportsmans Park right there in Cicero, just north of Midway Airport. Probably the perfect place for a racetrack. A lot of lowlife scumbags, riffraff, hang out there. I would never suggest going anywhere near this place, but the Chicago outfit had major control of this place, from the vending services to the contracts to the employees, all on their payroll. Now, a super popular spot for Chicago outfit guys and their associates were these racetracks, especially the ones like Hawthorne, one of the most popular ones, and Balmoral and Melrose Park. They too had a suspicious fire. But guys like Harry Allman, Butch Petroselli, Tony Borsellino, and other guys from Wild Bunch used to hang out here. And that low-life rat snitch Bob Cooley tried to wear a wire on them, but it didn't work. Now, anywhere where there's horse racing, there's some kind of a mob connection. One of my favorite places as a kid, and even as an adult, is Arlington Racetrack. This is one of the most beautiful racetracks in the country, and sad to say they're now closing it. They're thinking about offering this to the Chicago Bears to build a new football stadium. I hope they don't. I hope the Bears stay at Soldier Field. But years ago, this place had a mysterious fire, burnt to the ground, and then they rebuilt it. Now, here's two of my favorite places in the city, if not the world: the old Chicago Stadium and Soldier Field. And believe it or not, the Chicago outfit has a lot of their family and friends that do contracts with these facilities and or actually work there. I've gotten into the Chicago Stadium, the United Center, and Soldier Field numerous times for free because I knew a guy. Now, most of us are well aware of all the corruption that goes on at McCormick Place. And I remember during disgraced Governor George Ryan's trial, they talked about a lot of illegal businesses him and Larry Warner had. They actually had a company called McPier, where they were making millions of dollars off of Navy Pier and McCormick. We all know a lot of outfit guys get out of prison. They get a union job at McCormick Place, making union wages. And some of them even get injured on the job and end up suing. Now, I did a show a while ago on the Chicago Board of Trade and the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, and how a lot of the Chicago outfit guys are in prison, but their sons, nephews, relatives, grandchildren all became top traders, making millions of dollars. And in the Merc building, there was a bar called Rivers that overlooked the Chicago River. This is the bar everybody hung out at. Unbelievable happy hours. Now, right there in the Taylor Street neighborhood, you got a little plaque here in memory of Johnny the Bug Varelli. I remember Taylor Street guy, bartender from Richards, Charluch, used to tell me some funny stories about this guy, the Bug. He was actually the neighbor of Paul the Waiter Rica, and he reported directly to Jack Cerrone. This place, the Patio, has the best beef in the city. Now, it's nice to see that there's still a few social clubs left. I personally wish there were more, but it's pretty hard, getting everybody together. Most guys I know are all gone anyways. But here's one located in the heart of Bridgeport. This is definitely an active club. And most of the times I'm in the neighborhood, I do a drive-by just to see if any of the guys are hanging out outside. Sometimes they barbecue. Now, this place has been around for years. They're all over the place. You got Salerno's, but I like the headquarters right there in Grand and Racine. Great place to go before a game. The food is good. The service is hit or miss. For me, it's like a love-hate relationship here with this place. But you'll definitely see some of the Grand Avenue associates hanging out here. You won't see any Taylor Street guys here, and vice versa. You don't see any Grand Avenue guys eating over on Taylor. And yes, I like to save the best for last, or near last. As we speak, there's definitely card games, illegal casinos, and underground strip clubs, if you will, going on today. If you know the right people and you get invited, you pay a cover charge. These are usually held at someone's condo or house and go on all night long. Now, this guy, as you can see, is not the best looking guy you'll ever see. Wears many hats. Government informant, porn king, YouTube liar, claims to be a member of the old Grand Avenue crew, claims to be a part of the FBI investigation team. Total bullshit. I challenge you, Red Wimette, to go live with me anytime, guy.